Newcastle fans were telling me about the winning mentality. Selling your best player to Liverpool to bring in the Frankfurt striker.
Yeah,
it's they're not the same. That for me is a.
Can I ask you this?
I don't think Newcastle and Elanga. I don't understand the Elanga signing when you've got Gordon, you've got Murphy, you've got Brad. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a third option. It's a third option, I guess.
It's a good option. But I wanted to ask you, Dej, yeah? So for the fourth position, you put it between Newcastle and Spurs.
No, I said Spurs.
Okay, so can I ask you this, Deji? Right?
So Spurs. Hold on, man. Let me just look, because I want. So you're telling me that Spurs is strong enough to get fourth over Arsenal,
bro? Like, and I have to be honest. I think you would no doubt agree that maybe there were times during last season that you were also riding a little bit of luck, actually. I think losing Partey is a big boy miss for you. I don't give a damn what anyone says. Partey is better than Zubimendi. And then I'm looking at Martinelli, more of the same. Madueke, more of the same. We're hoping that Saka doesn't get injured. And then we're also hoping that the Gyokeres that you're going to sign is the Gyokeres of Sporting Lisbon that can bag 50 goals in all comps. Highly unlikely in the Prem, but whatever. And then we're hoping that you don't have any injuries to your defense in Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. And then you've got Raya. Bro, man. Yeah. Look, I think it'll be fourth is between Spurs and Arsenal. I'll give you that.
Can I say something quickly, Deji? You're forgetting, you seem to miss out on something important. Despite all the good signings you've made, you're hiring a manager who, let's be honest, has never been in a club like Spurs to have to deal with the pressure of Spurs. To deal with the aspirations of where the Spurs are trying to go. Because let's be honest, right? All the signings that you're making with this Kudus, and if you get in Gibbs White, the idea is going back, competing next season, having a good Champions League run, maybe doing well in Champions League, secured in top 4. That's the idea of spending all this money that you guys are. The issue is you guys have Thomas Frank. Hold on, yes. I'll let you see what you have to say. But the thing with Thomas Frank is he a good manager? Yes. However, this is a step up for him, and this is going to be different levels of pressure, right? Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done in his first season. I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible season where he's going to be in the table. I can see him maybe having a good season where maybe, maybe finishing the Europa League places in his first season, or maybe in a Conference League place. However, a guaranteed of 4, I'm not sure for his first season with this team, right? With this pressure, where, managing a club of Spurs level, I think, I don't know, man. I'm not too sure because he's not an experienced manager with this kind of pressure of challenge.
But this is my thing. Sorry, my manager, he got more experience than my manager. My manager had to get from a team like Leicester to Chelsea and then win competitions and be in that top 4. And I think Thomas Frank is more experienced and he's more flexible tactically, innit? So I feel like kind of balances out in my opinion.
No. And I don't disagree. That's
UCL bit though. One second, the UCL bit is different.
Yeah, but see, that's what's important also that Yasser, if you remember, right? Because you guys were juggling Conference League in his first season, right? He was juggling Conference League with the Premier League. Now in the Conference League, it was easy for him to just rotate his entire team and just focus on the Premier League and get into top 4. The thing is, at Spurs, he's gonna have to go all in in the Champions League, go all in the Europe, because I'm sure the Spurs fans will at least want to see Spurs maybe make around the 16 quarterfinals at least in the Champions League. You understand what I mean, right? Bare minimum, right?
They just happy to be there.
No, I mean, no. But let's be honest, Deji. Are you just expecting to just make the numbers, or are you hoping that you?
I was smiling at you because I was like, why stop there?
But that's the point. But no. Look, I'm just saying. Listen. As much as you guys are in the Champions League, let's be honest. Last season was a poor season for your standards. You won the Europa League, which is great, but if you remember your league form was awful, right? So I'm not expecting you guys to be as bad this season. However, I don't think it's gonna just go as easy as many.
Omar, look at the defense. Look at the defense, Omar. Has the defense improved much?
The defense wasn't bad. It was just tactical, bro. We're not going to be playing that Edith high line, bro.
That defense in the Champions League, not just in the Champions League. In the Champions League, that defense already got caught out in the Prem, but that defense is going to get caught out.
It's not getting caught out now. We're not under Ange. If we were under Ange still, I would fully agree with you, Northside, but we're not under Ange. And one thing that Yasser said is that, you know, Thomas Frank is one of the most adaptable managers in the Prem. The one thing I will say, though, is it's an unknown. It's either it's like looking at a glass half empty or half full. He has better tools at his disposal, full stop. And I'm hoping he's able to get a tune out of these players. If he gets a tune out of the players that didn't perform last season, Tottenham's already a better team. If he can get a tune out of Bissouma, Bentancur, Maddison, keep these guys from being injured as well. If he can get a proper tune out of Brennan Johnson, if he can get a tune out of Matthias Tell, Richarlison, all of a sudden, what Tottenham have is what other teams don't have. We have depth, and you're going to need depth if you want to compete for the Prem or be top four and go into the, you know, the later stages of the champs. And I will say, Tottenham, we have depth, because even whether you like it or not, Bergvall pretty much played a full season. So did Archie Gray. So there's minutes in their legs. They're not starters, but they're people who can come on and do a job. So we've got a squad right now.
To be honest, though, my thing is, with Tottenham, I think that you're going to start seeing less injuries than you had last season, because we had a similar thing with Poch and this season. I think your defense might even be better than it was last season, and that's because these men, like the Thomas Franks and that, they like to have a full structure, like a defensive structure, and that. Whereas with Ange and that, they like to do this whole, you know what, we'll play high line and then there's one guy running back to get the ball, which was Van de Ven at the time. And then when you don't have someone recovering the ball, it ruins the whole way of playing or the risk you take, because now you don't have that recovery that you can rely on. And I think, yeah, man, I just don't. I think that he'll probably play them in like a mid block, which will be a bit more safer than what Ange used to do when he just plays that full high line and that. And I just think defense is usually more based on structure. If you have the right structure, sometimes you can take. And I think Northside, you've seen it slightly in the Champions League run. When Gabriel was injured, your defense was still all right, even though it was Kivio there, because it's the structure that you have. Do you get what I'm saying?
And also,
but then when certain players get exposed 1v1, which they will at times, you're going to start seeing why you need to upgrade personnel, because the structure can't hide completely the deficiencies of certain players. Like we still saw Calafiori get cooked. Zinchenko was part of a good defense as well. We still saw him getting cooked. So there will be moments where, it's not going to be as mad as Ange, but there's some upgrades that need to be done defensively to your team. Also,
I'm quite happy with Tottenham's back four. You know, I swear, Dan, I'm happy with it.
Is it Dan? Is Dan still there?
Dan's still there. I'm happy with Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, and Porro or Spence as our back four. By the way, Thomas Frank doesn't invert. He's an old school, go around the outside and overlapping run, whip it in.
He would love him. You know what I mean?
What about Richarlison quickly before we ask Sunshine? And I know she's itching to talk about Man United right now. She can't wait. You know,
I don't do that term, man. You know what I mean?
What about Richarlison, Deji? Because you said that you guys going to sell Richarlison.
Yeah, bro. At the end of the day, you know, who was Mbeumo? He got Mbeumo from the second division in the French league. Wissa was an unknown. Turned them into gunmen. I think there's still a player there in Richarlison. I really do. It just needed someone to put their arm around him and show him and give him his confidence back. I think Richarlison could even still be Tottenham's number 9. We're still talking Solanke. It might not be. It could be a toss between Solanke and Richarlison this season. Just need someone who can bring out the best in them. So Tottenham are moving like NSG. You get me? We got the options. We got options. You know what I mean? And we just need someone who can bring out the best in them. Bro, like legit, Thomas Frank, if he can get a tune out of these players, it's looking long. The big one for me is Bissouma. If he can get Bissouma back to prime Bissouma, then it's long. It's long.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you said Solanke is better than Gyokeres, but now you're saying that.
Oh, I said that I think that Solanke can score more goals than Gyokeres. Yes, I did say that, bro.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why. It's not a given. It's not a given that Gyokeres is gonna turn up and bang. And I even went as far as to say,
well, Solanke hasn't turned up and bang. When did Solanke turn up and bang? When did Solanke turn up and bang?
This season under my manager.
How many goals did he score?
This season under my the season the season before Solanke joined Spurs. How many goals did he get? He got about 19. He got 19 Premier League goals. If Solanke gets 19 Premier League goals this season, I'm happy.
But did he last season though?
That's right. No, hold on.
Because Andrew's a madman. Let's not talk about last season. Andrew's a madman.
But that's what Northside asked you.
But Deji, quickly, how many goals did he score this season before that?
He had about 19 Prem goals. 19.
Okay, before the previous.
Oh, why are we doing that?
No, but it's important because we need to know if he's.
The memory doesn't go that far.
Hold on. Because because listen, no side can tell you watching. Hold on. When Gyokeres was playing for Coventry, he put 21 goals in the championship. Went to Sporting and continued scoring goals regularly over there. So we know that he's been doing this not just last season, the season before that. He's been doing this consistently for the past 4 seasons. Solanke, let's be honest, Solanke that last season at Bournemouth was really when we really started taking Solanke seriously. Before that, nobody was really looking at Solanke like that. Let's be honest. Nobody was.
Omar, so based on your logic, what are you expecting Gyokeres to do this season at Arsenal in terms of numbers?
I expect Gyokeres to score goals because I've seen him score goals season upon season upon season. Honestly, right, I think for his first season, right, bare minimum in the league, I expect him to put bare minimum 15 goals.
I think everyone's thinking 15.
No, but that's my point.
That's not the 30 or 25 goals that people are shaking their bum for. The way Arsenal fans are talking, it's like guaranteed 25, 30 goals.
But this is the problem.
15 goals is a bog standard striker in the Prem.
But when I say minimum, that's what I'm saying. That's the lowest I will give him. I think that.
No, but that's not what we want to hear. How much do you roughly think he'll score, bro? Because I can say bare minimum 10, but
okay, fine. All right. If he plays a full season, this whole season, I expect him to put 20 goals.
Is that it?
All comps are just in
just in the league.
In the Prem.
For Arsenal.
10 Prem goals is all right.
But that's the thing, right? Because no, because he's a consistent goal scorer.
You don't believe him to be that gunman then?
No, but that's why I said he should put 20 goals.
Yeah, but it's a risk, innit? It's always a risk, innit?
This is the thing, though, yeah. I think.
Let's just be real about it. Like he's going up.
High rewards, no side. That's the simple logic of life, bro. High rewards. You put the money down. You put the money down to get the players you need
for one season, and then you're trying to dismiss all the other seasons that he didn't bang. But it is what it is. It is what it is, isn't it?
All right, Northside. No, let me ask you the same question legitly.
Yeah, bring Tony's chat.
The energy that I'm getting from you and the rest of the Arsenal fan base is like this guy is like another Haaland. Like we're looking at 28 plus goals. And I'm looking at it like, I think he's about 15, 20 goals. I'm like Omar, but that's why I can't give him the props. And if you're telling me he's 15, 20 goals, then he's no different to a Solanke, bro. Like that means he's below this back.
How many goals did Solanke?
He's a Nicholas Jackson.
How many goals? How many goals is
Solanke? He's a Zerky or whatever his name is.
Wait.
Beef jerky. You know them ones.
Wait, Deji. How many goals did Solanke score last season?
Bro, we're not doing that.
You won't answer the question. Northside already asked this.
I'm not doing that because
you don't want to do that. Why? Why?
Because Ange is a madman.
Hold on. You spend 60 million on him. Am I wrong? You spend 60 million on Solanke?
Bro, Ange is a madman. Is he not?
Okay, so you're blaming Ange. Okay, guess what? All right, then fine, Deji. If at the end of the season, Gyokeres doesn't put 15 goals down, Northside then have the right to then say, it's Arteta. It's Arteta. It's not Gyokeres.
I'm calm with that.
He was going to do that anyway.
I'm joking. No, it's calm, Deji. Don't worry. We'll remind you at the end of the season.
I hear it though.
We'll remind you.
You know what it is for me, yeah? I have a feeling that it's just that because Gyokeres is coming with 50 goals, a lot of the fans that's their expectation. They think he's going to save them. And I think if he doesn't end up scoring that, this is why you kind of have to be living in reality. I don't think he'll score anywhere near that number, but he might be close. As in Haaland, it's scoring similar goals that he did before when he turned up at the Prem, which is why they were looking at him like it's crazy. Does that make sense?
Minimum 18 goals, bro. I can't lie. Minimum 18 goals, I'll be calling.
I want to be sure that Gyokeres is going to get more numbers than Ollie Watkins at Arsenal.
He's supposed to be in his prime. Here's the thing. I'll be real, yeah. He's supposed to be in his prime, yeah. This is the thing, yeah. He's coming into the club. He's in his prime. He's had experience. He's supposed to be the guy to elevate the team. If you're not elevating the team, I'll be the first one to call him out and say, yo, the performances aren't good enough. Is it a risk? Of course it's a risk. It was a risk when Chelsea went and got João Pedro. Nobody was saying go get João Pedro. Your club weren't looking at João Pedro. Most people weren't saying go get João Pedro.
You know what people said to me, North? Well, what? So we're shopping at Brighton again for 60 million. That's what they said to me. You know? But we know I don't
think there's anything wrong. Do you know what? Yeah, Dej, I can't lie. You know I cuss this fan base here when they do dumb stuff. There's nothing wrong with having high expectations. There's nothing wrong with having high expectations of Gyokeres. Now, if he doesn't fulfill, the expectation, you have every right to call it out. And then people be disingenuous, then you can say, "Yo, hold on, you man was saying this guy was gonna deliver. You have to call it out." Cool. But at the same time, it was the deal that made sense for the price tag and the experience. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he's been scoring goals was something that we needed, and we couldn't go out there and spend the amount of money that I would have liked us to spend on an Isak and somebody that's more proven. So I get it, bro. Like, I understand that Isak was the better signing to go and make, but you see my club, bro, where we can't just get a striker and think everything's fixed, because it's not, bro. We're still calling for Eze. We still need a winger, even though we're getting this bum Madueke. Yeah, I'm saying we still need rotation for Saka. Let's be real. We still need a centre back, bro, because if one of my centre backs get injured, it's long for us. But we still need other cover, bro. That's just the truth, innit? So we couldn't go out there and just spend 120, 130, 140 on Isak and think, okay, everything's fixed, because it's not, bro. Like my squad, remember, I had a whole bench last season, yeah, that was rubbish, bro. A whole bench, you know. Do you get me? So listen, it is what it is, isn't it?